Today I'm going to talk to you guys about some frequently asked questions that I've been asked through my subscribers, as well as some questions that I've seen online. And so it's going to be related to Airbnb, transportation, PCR tests, entry, domestic and international flights within Turkey, and that sort of stuff. Also about some personal questions that I've been asked as well. So I want to answer those first maybe. Yeah, I'm actually in Turkish right now. Turkish is about a 7-8 minute drive from Marmaris. So let's get into it. So I want to start first with the personal questions. The first one is, are you traveling alone? Yes, I am. I am traveling alone. I have been for a while, but even though I'm traveling alone, it doesn't mean I'm lonely. I always have friends everywhere. I've made friends in multiple countries. I'm always in touch with them. We plan for the future as well. And sometimes I do go to some of those countries just to visit my friends. So yeah, I do travel alone, but I'm not lonely, and that's all right. And that's part of the experience, I guess. You know, it's always fresh. Nothing is consistently the same, and I love it. I really love it. 2, I've been asked if I'm rich. As a matter of fact, I'm not, but I actually posted a video recently. You could click up here, and I actually talk about how I was homeless before I was able to travel. To answer that question, like I said, there's a video you could click on, and I explained how I created myself multiple sources of income, and I also own a digital marketing business. And the way I started that was I used to make content for some of my clients, and they didn't know how to use it properly. So I started to coach them how to use it properly, how to post it, when to post it, and that sort of stuff. Like I mentioned, it wasn't always like that. Before I started to work and travel back in 2016, I was actually living in my car. I made an entire video about that. You could click up here. Yeah, that's the truth. And my best tip for that is, if you want to travel the world and see around, make sure you have investments back home. So what I did is I put down payments on 2 different homes, and now I rent them out in Canada while I travel abroad. So therefore I don't have any worries when I do go back home. I have a place to stay, and you know, it's an investment. So my house is being paid off for by other people, and I don't even have to do anything while I travel the world. So make sure before you want to travel the world for long term, you got something like that on lockdown, because when you do finish your travel, you don't want to go back to nothing. So make an investment before you start putting money towards travel. So I do definitely recommend that. Also, people have asked me if I'm planning to live forever in Turkey, and the short answer to that is no, because I can't. And until I make some sort of investment into a property in Turkey, then you know, they'll probably give me a citizenship here and I can stay here. But until then, I have to kind of work with visa regulations and that sort of stuff. And so I do leave once in a while, but Turkey is going to be a place where I will find myself a base in, because I really enjoy living here. It's one of my favorite places to be. Other than, you know, Vietnam, Thailand, and Indonesia, right? But Turkey is one of my favorite places. It's very modern, and it's really easy living here as a foreigner. But at the same time, it has a lot to offer, whether it's in food, culture, and there's a lot to see. So yes, I will be kind of living here, but I will be going back and forth between countries. So I kind of have to find a base in different areas. But Turkey will be a place that I always come back to. I will be here for another probably 2 or 3 months, I'm not sure. And once I leave Turkey, I know I will eventually come back, probably this year. So, and we'll see what happens. I do have some plans in the future, so I hope that answers that question. And so the other question I've been asked is, what gear do I use? If you want to start YouTubing and you want to record, it really doesn't matter. I actually use my phone most of the time, but as you may have noticed in some of my videos, I do use top gear, and I do use a drone. It's a Mavic 2 Pro, my Sony a7 IV with several different lenses. Those are the ones I use if I want to get really cinematic, up close with food shots and that sort of stuff. But generally, when I want to answer questions, I just want to use my phone. Not only that, I could see myself in it. It's so versatile and so easy to use. I could just put it somewhere and quickly record what comes to my mind. Just press the button and you're ready to go. Nothing to do with setting up the settings and that sort of stuff. And today's phones, you know, they shoot really well. So that's all the questions that comes to personal. Anyways, now I just want to talk about some of the main questions here, and some questions my subscribers ask, and also some questions I've seen online. These are going to be related to, like I said, Airbnbs, domestic international flights within Turkey, as well as prices of things, prices of food, where to buy the best stuff, vegetables, and as well as some related questions towards PCR tests and whether they're required to travel domestically or internationally. So I'm gonna find a place so we can talk about that. Okay, let's go. Guys, there's no way to escape the wind here, so if you do hear wind in my videos, I totally apologize for that. I don't have the right equipment for microphones and that sort of stuff. It is going to cost about $1,000 to get the proper gear for microphones and a setup that hooks up to the phone or to my other camera so I could get the proper audio. But I hope this is just good enough to answer some questions. So like I said, if you do hear wind, it's almost hard to escape during December here. It's a really windy city. Yeah, I hope it doesn't bother you guys that much, you know. So I do try to find locations where the video is more clear and sounds good. So I like to shoot near the beach sometimes because that's what inspires me. But those are the areas that are probably the most windy, so totally apologize for that. But anyways, let's get to the questions. A subscriber of mine recently wrote in my comment section and they said, I'm planning on traveling to Turkey December 28th. My first tip to that is, can you wait maybe a week? Because your plane ticket is probably going to be a lot cheaper, whether it's domestic or international, after January 2nd, let's say, because during December, things are going to be very expensive, specifically towards like plane tickets. So just wait a week if you could do that. And the next thing you ask is, do I need a PCR test if I'm traveling domestically from anywhere to Cappadocia, and do I need a PCR test upon arrival? You know, if I test positive for a vaccine, do I need to quarantine? And I could answer all that with one answer. You don't need a PCR test if you're fully vaccinated at the moment. Although I did make a video about that, so click up here and you'll see what I mean. I made a video about most of those questions, but when you do go to that website that I did offer in my last video, and sometimes it does say possible quarantine, and that's only towards people that are not fully vaccinated and they do test positive on their PCR test. So it's different for everybody else. Like I said, go check out that video I put up there, and I hope that kind of helps you guys. So with the Turkish Lira crisis happening, and I think since January it's dropped by 40%. This means life is very difficult in Turkey for the locals. So what that means is that you can actually help out the locals here when you do arrive as a tourist, or whether you're staying here long term. So that is a good thing. And for those who are earning either, you know, euros or dollars, then yeah, your money is gonna go really far away right now. And things seem to be a lot cheaper for us while it's becoming more expensive for them. But like I said, don't feel bad, because by you being here, you're also helping out the economy. So, you know, be generous with your tips, I guess, a little bit. Because when you tip someone $3 here, that's actually what they're probably earning in an hour. So be generous with your tips. So when it comes to shopping, there are a couple of really brand names here, such as Migros, and then there's Carrefour, I think they call it, and Souk. The best way I could describe it is Carrefour is lower quality, cheaper prices, and Migros is high quality, higher prices. But what I want to say about supermarkets here is actually they're relatively very expensive in Turkey. So if you want to get vegetables and that sort of stuff, just go to like a corner grocery store. Number one, they're actually more fresh. They're brought in by farmers every day, daily, and I've seen them like unpack and put it there. So don't even shop at a supermarket unless you want to go buy like personal hygiene and stuff, such as, you know, deodorants, shampoo, and that sort of stuff. But generally, if you want to do for like vegetables or organic products, then I would actually do it in a corner store, you'll see them everywhere. You'll get best fruits, fresh vegetables, and that sort of stuff, and they're brought in daily by the farmers. So that's my tip about grocery shopping, I guess you could say. Supermarkets are more expensive, and it depends which supermarket you also go to. But yeah, if you want to shop for groceries, just do it at the corner store. You'll see them everywhere. And so the other question is prices of Airbnbs in Turkey. Airbnb is probably the best way to find yourself a location to live in, whether it's short-term or long-term. In Turkey, I really find it great, you know, but if you want to stay really long-term, you're probably going to have to go to like a site like Sahibin'den, which is like the equivalent to, I don't know what you guys use in America, but in Canada we use Kijiji. And so basically, most of the houses that are offered on those sites, though, they're not furnished, no TV. And if you want to live long-term and buy your own stuff, sure. But for me, what works best is I want to fully furnish with TV. You do end up paying a little bit more on Airbnb, but it's still the best for someone like me. So let's say in Istanbul, they usually label it as 1+1. That means like, you know, one living room and a one bedroom. You usually get like a kitchen with it. And for something like that, Istanbul is expensive. You're going to end up 600 a month, 700, sometimes 800, depending on your own lifestyle. I mean, if you're, you know, single and you have nobody to impress, get yourself, you know, you can find yourself easily a place for $400, $500, you know. Airbnbs in other towns, they're a lot more cheaper depending on where you're going. For example, Kalkan is a little bit more expensive. I know Bodrum is a little bit more expensive, but you know, Antalya, the bigger cities, you will still find in the southern side much cheaper Airbnbs. I'm in Marmaris, and in winter right now, for a one bedroom, I'm paying $350. But I am going to cash as of January 1st, and in cash, you know, prices are a little bit higher. I'm paying almost $500, but I'm getting myself a beautiful, gorgeous place up in the mountains. I have a beautiful sea view. I could see the entire city from the top. Yeah, trust me, it's a steal. I'll probably show a tour about my place in Kaş for sure. So I'm very excited for that place. And I will be staying there for a month. So I like to stay monthly places because you get a ridiculous discount when you stay long-term on Airbnb. For example, for this place, I got a 55% discount just because I was staying long-term. I love Airbnbs, that's the best way to do it. But like I said, prices vary not only on your lifestyle, but it does vary the season. Whether it's winter or summer, things will be more. The place I got in cash, sure, I paid $500, but I guarantee the same place in summer, it might be 3 or 4 times more. That's Airbnbs from what I've known. So I've also been asked if it's okay to fly my drone around, and the question to that is not in Istanbul, but once you're outside, look, I've been doing it freely. In Istanbul, it's kind of scary because the police officers there, they have a kind of like a magnetic field gun. It's huge, and they shoot down your drones. They're able to detect it with radars, and they shoot it down. And it's only because there's a lot of government buildings in Istanbul, as well as some, you know, police stations and that sort of stuff for safety reasons. So if you're gonna do it in Istanbul, like, yes, I've done it, but I don't really recommend it. Once you're out of Istanbul, just fly freely, as long as you're not flying over people's, you know, homes and balconies and that sort of stuff. Just have some respect. But other than that, yeah, absolutely. It's my favorite thing to do in Turkey. You get so many great footages, you know, so do that. So a subscriber of mine actually said they weren't able to find an apartment for around 2,000 Turkish liras. In Canadian, that's around 200 Canadian dollars. My answer to that is, look, if you're here short term, okay, a week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and you want to get a place that's fully furnished, you're probably going to end up spending in most cities around $500. In wintertime, maybe just a bit cheaper. But for most people, if you're here long term, I don't recommend Airbnbs. You'll probably want to get your own furniture and that sort of stuff. And therefore, for like a 1+1 kind of bedroom, you could find yourself something around 200 Turkish liras. That is very possible. To be able to get that, you need a Turkish residency. You know, Airbnb is probably the best choice though. yeah, just make sure like hot water and electricity is included, because some places don't include that in their Airbnbs. Make sure that's all included in there, especially during winter months, because you're gonna have your heater on and you're also gonna use a lot of hot water. Check with your Airbnb host. Always ask before you say, you know? The other question that I got asked is, how do I find my way around Turkey, and how do I travel from one city to another city without having to ask locals and that sort of stuff? And what I could say to that, wow, that's sunny. Okay, let me go over here. And what I could say about that is, look, I use a website called Rome to Rio. And with Rome to Rio, you get to choose your destination from and where you're going to. And what I really like about this, it gives you different options as well, whether it's by, your budget or whatever. But here's what I found out about this site. So I'm moving from Marmaris to Kaş early next month. And what I've noticed is when I put from Marmaris to Kaş, it didn't give me any options. And the reason for that is there's no direct buses or flights that go from Marmaris to Kaş. So the way I fixed that is by looking at the nearest town to Marmaris. So I put from Marmaris by bus to Fethiye. I found myself a bus there. There are many. And from Fethiye to Kaş, there's another bus, and the whole trip will take me just a couple of hours. But I thought it was the best way to travel around, especially because I have my suitcases and I don't want to pay extra every time I get on an airplane. And listen, the entire trip will only cost me $7. You can't beat that. Yeah, so I use Rome to Rio. I'm gonna put the link down here. Check it out. And that's what I've been using forever. And it's the best way to get around, I think, and as well as airheart.com. That's the one I also use for entry requirements and that sort of stuff. Like I mentioned, I put it in a video up there. So internet speeds. Someone asked me about internet speeds because they work online. Internet is very high speed in Turkey. I use my Wi-Fi at home, and it gives me about 50 megabyte download speeds, 10 megabyte upload speeds, and it's wonderful. I love it. I could stream movies, upload movies, and all that stuff. So it's great. And yeah, Turkey has no problem with, at least from my experience for where I've been, it doesn't have any issues with internet connectivity. I haven't had any problems like that so far. So I don't really think it's going to be a problem with anybody else. And even in Marmaris, it's a smaller town, still high speed internet, great stuff. Comparing to for example, when I was Bali, the power used to go out every minute over there, and internet speeds were really slow, 3 megabyte, maybe 4 megabytes download speeds if you were lucky. So if you're working online, Turkey is the place for internet. Yeah, it's really good over here. So mobile internet. I use Turkcell. I found when I did my research, it was the best one. It works all over the country, and they probably have the best reception. So I have 20 gigabytes a month, which is more than what I need, and I only pay around $8 Canadian for it. So in American, that's about maybe $6, and that's amazing because we pay maybe 10 times more for that in the States or in Canada. I know in Canada for 20 gigs right now, it's about $150. You see? So yeah, internet, I use Turkcell. Turkcell is really good. I've never had a problem with them. I get LTE connection everywhere I go. It's super high speed, super reliable. I could make phone calls with it. And yeah, it's wonderful if you want to use WhatsApp, stream YouTube and all that stuff. So yeah, Turkcell, really good. Yeah, so the other thing was, again, weather. A lot of people are asking me a question about weather in December right now in Turkey. Like I mentioned in my other video, in the north, yeah, it's not really good, like northern, like Istanbul, Ankara, and if you're going a little bit north, it's going to be snowy during winter. But where I am in Marmaris, it's mild. Look, today I'm just wearing a sweater and my jacket, and that's it. And it's awesome, at least for a Canadian. I'm really used to the cold. But today is about 14 degrees Celsius. I would say this is springtime for me, kind of, in Canada. It feels like spring. It does get chilly at night, and in the mornings it's really cold. But other than that, I have an entire video that I posted before this that kind of explains a little bit more about that. But yeah, it's just cold in the north, mild in the south. when it comes to traveling domestically inside Turkey, and you want to travel, let's say, by bus, but if there's buses that need to get involved, for example, getting a bus to go to a airport, make sure your Airbnb checkout is not on a Saturday. Saturday, the buses are almost non-existent. Sundays are great, and all the way throughout the week. But if you're getting yourself an Airbnb and you have to check out on a Saturday and you have to go to an airport and you got to take a bus, make sure you don't check out on a Saturday. You're gonna have a hard time finding a bus getting to some cities, and that's only if it involves buses. But if you're in a city that has, you know, an airport and that's all you need, then yeah, there's taxis everywhere. Get yourself a taxi, get to the airport. But what I've noticed in my experience is that I need to check out on a Sunday rather than a Saturday, and you know, I kind of planned it that way because I wanted to make sure I have an easy way of finding a bus to get around to my next city. Guys, you see, I like to make content based on your questions, and those are the ones that I'm excited to make videos about, is answering people's questions. All your comments, if you got questions, just put them down below, and I'll continue to make videos like these. You know, look at me, I'm in a beautiful place in Turkey. Some of you guys will be here very shortly as well, and you're thinking about living here or coming here short term. And I also hope to put more videos out there about exploration, so you guys not only are interested in Turkey but in myself as well. So when I do leave Turkey one day, you continue watching my videos, and I hope to inspire you to visit other places as well in the future. But I do want to make more exploration videos as well, so you're gonna see me travel a lot more often. I'll also be recording my travels from Marmaris and how I get to Cash, for example. And once I'm there, I'll give you guys an Airbnb tour about my new place, and I'm very excited about that place, by the way. I'll get into the cost and everything later on, but I absolutely love my new place there. It's beautiful. It's up in the mountains. I get a sea view. I get to see the sunrise and the sunset from where I am, and I'm very excited about that. And I'll give you guys a tour once I arrive there. But like I said, I do want to make more exploration videos, and so you guys kind of, you know, get to know me a little bit better.